to start us off, but I'm still letting in. We don't have a quorum just yet. Let me just see. Mr. Brockman, Mr. Duran Harris, Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Keefe, and Ms. Toth. We do have a quorum. We could get this meeting started. It's been advertised for 7 o'clock, and the clock just struck 7. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Ms. Hawk, to call the order and for your announcement before we turn it over to our wonderful teacher, Ms. Perryman, and the extraordinary 4th grade chorus of Judd. So with that, Ms. Gonzalez, I can share the screen if you would like so everyone can see the agenda loud and clear. So you get to hit the gavel if you want. Ms. Guadagnino's joining and Ms. Rubin is joining. So
fantastic.
Ms. Gonzalez, you want to call this meeting to order?
Oh, wait, I have something that we'll have to do as a gavel. Good evening. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the North Brunswick Township Board of Education. May we please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam President, as we're having a full arrival, I know you have a message to say. You have it on the agenda. So if you would like to, before we get to the Judd 4th grade chorus.
Dr. Z, I'm not sure what you said.
Oh, I apologize. You have a message you asked us to put on the agenda, welcoming our community to the Zoom.
Yes, thank you. I apologize. Thank you.
No problem.
Good evening and welcome to the community members joining us via Zoom. This meeting of the North Brunswick Township Board of Education is being held virtually via Zoom in order to practice social distancing. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast via YouTube. The link for the call number via Zoom is available on our website. Any votes required during the meeting will be done via roll call for the good of the order.
Thank you, Madam President, and welcome to our community. Welcome to our October 28th public meeting. We're in for a great treat. As you know, we have been remote, we've been virtual, but the learning, the teaching, the collaboration has never stopped. Ms. Perryman, she didn't just start in September. She was working with students, doing virtual plays. I think it was Charlie Brown, Ms. Perryman, that you treated us to. While we couldn't get together, you figured a way out with our talented students, and you reached out to me and said, I have a great group of singers. They would love to perform at the board meeting. And of course, we know anytime we get a chance to celebrate the students that we are here for, I took full advantage of that opportunity and said yes. So, Ms. Perryman, I'm going to turn it over to you and that wonderful group of students that you have, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having us. We have a lot of, how's my volume? Is it okay?
Volume is great.
Okay.
The rest of us should mute our phones.
Yeah, we're getting some feedback.
So we aren't able to sing at the same time, so we decided on some solos for you. So we will have the Star Spangled Banner sung twice. And our first group of students, if the students, as I call your name, if you could unmute, we will start with Gabby. Why don't you give them a wave? And Bhavana, Zahir, Lauren, Charlie, Ethan, Sophia, and Giona. So we'd like to start with our first group.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Its red glare, the bombs bursting in air, it proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Yay! Great job! Jazz hands for you guys. And our second group.
Wait, hold on, Miss Perryman.
Wait.
Well, that was absolutely.
That was fantastic.
Can you give us introduction to those students one more time and have them wave again? Because that was fantastic.
Gabby.
Wave. Hi, Gabby.
Bhavana.
Terrific.
Zahir.
I see him in my corner. Great job, Zahir.
Lauren.
Thank you.
Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. Thank you.
Ethan,
thank you. You look like a radio producer with that headset. Excellent, Ethan.
Sophia,
thank you.
and Giona.
Thank you. What a great job. That wasn't easy. We had some feedback.
A round of applause for them.
Yay!
I'm going to give another virtual round of applause as well. All right. We have a hand up. Sharice, is that Sharice? Did you have a hand up, Sharice? Or is that for a clap? Okay, good. Miss Perryman, how about the second group?
Let us, this is True. If you could wave to us, True. And Karis. And Miriam. And Iman. And Campbell. And Sydney. And Earl. And Kayla. All right, here we go.
Oh, say, can you see by the light what so proud that we held at the twilight's last gleam, whose vast stripe and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And its red glare, the bombs bursting in air, it proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? land of the free and the home of the brave.
Yay! Fantastic.
Hey.
guys.
Bravo.
Fantastic.
I gave a virtual clap. One more time, can you introduce that group as well?
Absolutely.
Sydney, way to hang. I know you had some connection problems, but it still sounded great. Thank you.
So it is True.
Wave, True, thank
Wait
you.
for us, True. And Karis
Karis,
and-
thank you.
and Miriam.
Miriam, thank you.
Iman.
I see Imam over there. Thank you, Imam.
Campbell.
I heard Campbell. Yep. Thank you, Campbell.
Sydney.
Way to hang in there, City. Thank you. You got it. It was really good, even with that internet.
Earl.
Earl, thank you.
And Kayla.
Kayla, thank you. Terrific
And
job.
we have an Eva here who came along with the group as well, but chose not to sing a solo, but is a part of our group.
Well, Eva, thank you. We saw you giving the cheering, the hand signals and cheering. Thank you. I just want to thank you, Ms. Perryman, and all the students. This is not easy. It's not an easy time. We really appreciate it because you know what you guys do? You remind the Board of Education, the Superintendent Administration, your principal who's on, Mr. Patella, Miss Nominee, one of your administrators, your teacher, Miss Oliveri. It reminds me why we do what we do every day. You folks show great resiliency. Thank you. It's not easy in this COVID not being there. So on behalf of the Board of Education, thanks for making us smile and really setting us up for a nice evening for during our meeting on Zoom. We got to meet on Zoom as well. So thank you again, students. Ms. Perman, thank you for volunteering their talents. Mr. Patella, thank you, your staff and your administrators coming on and supporting our students again and again and again. So we appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Zakowski and board. Just as principal, I want to thank you, Ms. Perryman, and congratulate all these wonderful singers. You've really made Judd proud, and I hope to see you in the halls of Judd at some point this year. Way to go, everybody. Thank you again, Dr. Zakowski and Board of Ed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Madam President, that was terrific. I'm going to share the screen. Students, you're more than welcome to stay. You don't have to, we understand. We do have a agenda to get through. And Madam President,
Sir.
we are on number 3, where if you don't mind, I'm going to ask our Assistant Business Administrative Board Secretary to do a roll call.
Yes, please.
Mr. Brockman.
Present.
Mr. Brooks. Mr. Durant Harris.
Present.
Ms. Keefe. Here. Mr. Liguori. Mr. Liu. Ms. Rubin. Here. Ms. Toth.
Present.
And Ms. Gonzalez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I don't know if you heard me. Mr. Brooks is here.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was on mute.
Yeah, Mr. Brooks is in the house. We're happy to have you, Mr. Brooks. We saw you come on, and thank you for being here. So we do
Sure. No, glad to be here.
we do have a board president's statement.
Thank you, sir. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Thursday, September 17th, 2020 in the following manner. Posted on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, Old Georges Road, North Brunswick, mailed to the Home News Tribune, Sentinel, and the clerk of the Township of North Brunswick, and delivered to the 9 duly elected board members. Dr. Zakowski, I believe we have some presentations.
Yes, not much of a presentation, but by law, we just have to make sure we publicly post on our, nowhere better than our board agenda. If you look, that it's the grading of our schools, that we do a self-assessment for the bullying regulations and requirements. It should be anti-bullying or HIB training and so on. And I just want to take you through this agenda very quickly on page, I believe it's 13. I'm getting there. And you will see, this is the presentation, is there for all to see. It starts on letter 12. page 12, I'm sorry, letter D, the self-assessment. It talks about the core elements. The highest grade is 78. And we show you the scores of each of our schools relative to the 78 denominator. So we also put the percentage, which the state has validated. And we are all in the A category, A plus category. So thank you to our staff, our students, to our administrators and our staff to doing so well again this year. And so that is just the report, the presentation that is required by law. And we're happy to report because we are making strides and doing so well. But more importantly, we are complying with the law relative to the anti-bullying and Bill of Rights and the school level self-assessments. So with that, that concludes that part of it. It'll be accepted tonight in the agenda on page 12 and 13, but I am highlighting that those scores. And with that, Madam President, we are on number 6.
Ms. Rubin, would you mind taking that?
Absolutely. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following board minutes. The conference regular public Zoom meeting from September 30th, 2020.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes,
The minutes are accepted.
thank you.
Madam President, number 7, communications. There's no new communications, but we do have a lot of reports tonight. So if we could get started with the administrative report, if that's okay with we continue. Madam President,
Sure.
can I
Yes.
continue? I'll do the administrative report. Good
Please.
evening, North Brunswick. It's great to see everyone who is here. I'm going to put on a full board so I can see everyone who is here. I just want to welcome you to our board meeting. We have some great news tonight to announce, and with the superintendent's report. Tomorrow on the mayor's broadcast, we're going to honor and talk to our senior J.D. Beaupere. He's a national merit semifinalist. He's in the running for a national finalist. It is rare to have you are outstanding in your PSATs and your scores, and we look forward to hearing if Mr. Beaupere is qualifying. His name is J.D. If he's going to qualify for our national merit finalists. He's in the running, but he already accomplished the national merit semifinals. Congratulations to J.D. And he'll be on our morning broadcast tomorrow just to talk a little bit about his accomplishments at North Brunswick Township High Schools. Speaking about North Brunswick Township High School, I'm happy to announce one of our strategic goals has been to connect to college and career. We've created a business academy connecting with Ruby, Rutgers University Business Youth. We've connected with Middlesex College and in their dual enrollment program. We announced a few months ago, I was asked by the governor to sit on the statewide dual enrollment committee. What is dual enrollment? Students are able to gain college credits while meeting the demands and the criteria of a high school diploma. How do they do that? Well, we have teachers that get certified, master level certification in their content area, that they get certified by the college and universities. So students are now gaining, we have 86 students in our academy, our dual enrollment. And those 86 participating, that's a potential of 265 credits. We're going to have one of our teachers on Friday in our morning broadcast. The mayor's been gracious enough to allow us to highlight some of the great things going on. And I just wanted to highlight in our board meeting, 265 college credits. Now remember, why I'm excited about Middlesex County College, soon to be Middlesex College as they're changing their name. They've been just awarded and cited for having a great transfer record, having an agreement with Rutgers University. Any student getting a B or better in Middlesex County will be able to transfer it and get all their credits transferred to Rutgers University. Now, that's not, to many may not sound like a big thing, but colleges, junior colleges, 2-year colleges, they are judged and graded by truly their transfer record. A few years ago, we had a student go to Middlesex County College because he didn't know what he wanted. And 2 years later, he transferred to MIT. So instead of going to MIT out of North Brunswick, he felt his way. He went to a 2-year university, 2-year college, and then he's finishing up. In fact, he's finished at MIT. So we use him, and the Middlesex College uses him as a great example of maintaining one's dream, maintaining a pathway. It doesn't always have to be high school to a 4-year university. Many students in North Brunswick get accepted to our 4-year universities, and they don't know what to do. College is expensive. So some of them are now going to Middlesex County College. And I have some great news about Middlesex County College, but in a minute, and they go on to gain college credits elsewhere, and the transfer of their transfer record is outstanding. So this is great news, but even better than that, 63 of our 86 students taking college credits while trying to gain their high school diploma, 63 are taking AP courses. Of the 63 students, we are excited that if they get a 4 or 5, that also transfers. That gives those students that I just talked about a chance for 465 credits before they leave high school. That's amazing. They will be able to get that many credits towards a high school college degree while performing in high school. Now, I'm not done yet, because the strategic thinking is we want students to walk out of North Brunswick Township High School with an associate's degree from college. You say it can't be done, it will be done. We are working with our staff. We're going to get to that point. It can't be done overnight because it's not. We can't wave a wand. We have to get our teachers certified. We have to have them certified by the colleges. But our goal is to have another academy where students could gain an associate's degree. You know the doorways that opens up? Because with colleges no longer relying on SAT scores, they're relying on the quality of courses, the challenging courses that students take in their high school career. So we are preparing students for their career and college. So with our growth of our academies, we look to share more with you, but we want to say thank you to our teachers. Listen to the Friday broadcast. We'll have Miss Roundtree on, who teaches a couple courses in the dual enrollment program, and a couple students coming on talking about their experiences on the Friday broadcast. If you can't listen to the Friday broadcast, we do keep a link on it on our website. It's there on the superintendent's page. It's on the web page. So please take a look at it, and we're proud to share the accomplishments of our staff and students with you. I said there was going to be great announcements, speaking of dual enrollment. Well, I'm proud as a member of the Rotary that services New Brunswick, North Brunswick, and Highland Park, that we were a recipient, not one, but two, $5,000 scholarship to be used for the associate's degree by 2 of our students from last year. Zanaya Boykins, class of 2020, and of course, Shayla Mitchell. Both will allow, because they're Rotary scholarships, to use $5,000 pursuing that associate's degree. They are well on their way of getting their first 2 years of college paid for. We're very, very happy. But speaking of college scholarships, Kyle Farmer, another student of class of 2020. That class of 2020, so resilient. They were impacted by the COVID, but they're still making great news. Kyle Farmer just received the McDaniel College Educators Legacy Scholarship for the total amount of $100,000. So congratulations to Kyla, I'm sorry, I said Kyle's, Kyla, Zanaya, and Shayla. So great news in North Brunswick. Great news for the high school. I want to thank our staff members, our principal, helping us execute the strategic plan of creating pathways. In this case, we talked about dual pathways, gaining college credits while in high school. Madam President, great news. We want to thank Judd Principal and the Judd administration, Ms. Oliveri, Ms. Perryman for allowing our 4th grade chorus to shine tonight again. That will conclude for now my administrative report.
Thank you.
So we now have committee reports.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any committee reports this evening?
Yes, Madam President. This is Tracy, and the Personnel Committee met on October 21st, which was about a week ago. And it feels just a bit longer than that, as every day blends into the next these days. So like I mentioned, the Personnel Committee met on October 21st. We discussed retirements and resignations, new hires, 6th periods, transfers in maintenance, We also discussed leaves of absence, including those related to COVID. We discussed furloughs and reductions in force where applicable. And then we also discussed some feedback from exit interviews, which are a new addition to our process to give us some feedback and insight into the experience of our staff that decides to leave North Brunswick. And that is about it for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, I'd like to give a report for the Community Relations Committee.
Thank you, Ms. Toth.
Absolutely. So we met also a week ago on the 21st. We discussed the hybrid learning, which we have the students that have picked to return to school on November 16th. We also discussed some students returning this past Monday within special services. We went over some data that we had received as of last Wednesday, the 21st, which pertained to the survey questionnaire that went out about hybrid learning and going back to school. We also discussed the 2020 NBTHS Hall of Fame launch, which we are relaunching this year. We're very happy to do so. We met 2 hours ago this evening, the committee. We plan to revisit the bylaws, talk about the purpose of why we're doing the Hall of Fame. We want the public to know to please look out for that if you are an alumni of NBTHS. And we talked about recording the ceremony, of course, with COVID going on. We want to make sure everyone is able to see it. We also spoke about niche. We got our monthly update from Ms. Rumbo. We had about 9,700 page views this past month. We had doubled our qualified inquiries from August to September, which is amazing. The high school page and the middle school page were our most viewed pages. And we also are proud to say that we outrank our neighboring districts in the county in terms of our engagement clicks. And then 2 other short things. We discussed Dr. Mendelbaum's presentation. Dr. Z told us that it went very well, and we received some really great feedback from families from that broadcast. And then, as Dr. Z mentioned in his administrative report, we talked about the dual enrollment update. We're doing extremely well with this, really great things coming out of it, and just really focusing on college and career readiness for our district. And that concludes my report. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other reports this evening?
Madam President, Mr. Brockman, are you? I don't see. Sorry.
Yes, Madam President. This
Okay.
is. Can Dr. Z, were you going to present something, or can I go?
I was only gonna wait to the end to Mr. Liguri, who's called out on business. He asked me to do the business operations report, so I'll wait to the end.
Okay. All right. So, Madam President, the policy committee met on October 14th, and during our meeting, we discussed the administrative employee contracts. We discussed athletic competition. We discussed emergency procedures for athletic practices and competitions. We discussed adult high school and the requirements that are needed in order to fulfill the requirements for an adult high school. We discussed gifted and talented students and what that means to be considered gifted and talented, as well as the classes associated with that category. We discussed cooperative purchasing between the school board and other government agencies. We discussed electronic fund transfers, and claimant certifications. We discussed the security in the school district and the policy surrounding the various security measures that are in place and need to be maintained throughout the school district. We talked about property inventory, which includes everything from laptops and screens and blackboards, so on and so forth. We also discussed emergency and crisis situations, lockdowns, and various procedures that fall within those categories. And all of these policies / regulations are being presented this evening for approval for the first reading. That concludes my my committee report, Madam President.
Thank you, sir.
Madam President, I would like to give a report regarding the Negotiations Committee.
Thank you.
The Negotiations Committee met on October 14th. During that meeting, we discussed the new Chapter 44, which is the state health plan, and the opt-out provisions that are required. We discussed the implications to staff regarding that plan and to the district. We discussed return to work accommodations for all categories of our staff. We also discussed the retention of a third-party compliance oversight relating to anything for COVID, such as incoming funds that are received from any grants or anything, as well as expenses. So third-party oversight on that. And we also discussed voluntary out-of-state travel and the implications that that may have on staff and operations. That concludes the report for negotiations, Madam President.
Thank you. Any other report this evening?
I will read Mr. Liguri's business operations report.
Thank you.
Monday, October 12th, the business operation met Mr. Liguri, Mr. Durant Harris, Ms. Gonzalez, and then Mr. Brockman was met with me separately as he was part of that committee. But the committee toured with our architect and his assistant. We toured the phase of Linwood. Remember, Linwood's undergoing a construction. It is now a 5th and 6th grade school. There was some construction in phase 1 after the new middle school was built to get it ready for our 5th and 6th graders. But phase 2, there's no impact when our students come back. Phase 2 is talking about the building of our early childhood center. We're building that early childhood center to take our students out of the Milltown OL school. It's now known as the MBTECC, located in Milltown. We are paying rent. Actually, the state is paying rent because we have it all grant funded, but it's being paid, and there's a lot of work to those buildings that we've been maintaining, but we want to bring our students back into our schools, and we're building as second phase of that referendum to build our new middle school that took our 7th, 8th graders and put them in new middle school. So we made multiple use of Linwood. That is going on now. I'm happy to report. I think the board enjoyed the tour. I'm happy to report we're on time. Actually, I don't want to jinx it. We're ahead of schedule and we're on budget. You'll see the ball fields that was removed. The ball field has been replaced at the new middle school. There is still a softball field. The baseball field is been placed at the new middle school multi-purpose field. So we're not losing the field. We have it in another place in our district. We're creating extra parking and a bus loop to drop off our students in a separate entrance, our early childhood students. And it will also be addition of one part of the building for a central office. Maple Mead is slowly going to be phased out. We have to make changes to Maple Mead. We have to get out of the building. And we are moving into a school. If you remember the original referendum, the state gave us nearly $1 million to put our central offices in a school building. That was part of the grant. If you remember I know it's a long time, 2015, 2016, when I was speaking on behalf of the board about passing a referendum. That is the phase because we were told that too much work. Maple Mead is not historic building, but it has to be brought up to code, ADA code, and would be prohibitive to bring it up to have a building and here at Maple Mead. So we are moving while construction is going on, we're going to be moving into the Linwood school, the 5th and 6th grade school, which will centralize the town hall and central office. So just want to report things were going well. We also talked about this committee then met. It was a long night. We did about an hour tour, and about 9 o'clock at night, we started the agenda after the tour. And we talked about, and we kept socially distanced. It was 4 of us in a big room. And we talked about the settlement disputes on the middle school. Things are going great over at the middle school. Our budget, we came in under budget, but we will still not release funds as we were going through every nickel for the taxpayer to make sure we maintain all change orders that they were agreed upon. They were according to budget and according to agreement. So that has been finalized. I'll have great news at our next board meeting, next business operation meeting when we settle all that up. But we have great news as we are, I think, at the point all finished, and our change order percentage was less than 1%. So we're very, very happy. We talked about potentially working with the township in the Knob Valley Jointure project. The township passed to do some work and some exploration about utilizing the Knob Valley property. We talked about the shared service project with the township, that over by the old Parsons schools, that if we can work together, help them with the township, provide lighting and parking pavement, much like they did when the township provided Linwood School a new parking lot, sewer, drainage, and so on. So the taxpayers didn't have to pay for multiple firms to mobilize. We're working together on that. We have a great shared service agreement with our township. So the taxpayer is only one taxpayer. And so any chance we get an opportunity to share services, and that was part of the discussion. We talked about the bus bid opening, 19 packages, 38 routes still to be determined. We're working on it as it goes. We're individually negotiating. So we did have a bid opening, and we still have 9 packages, 18 routes that we're working on right now. But for the most part, we'll be ready to, because limited transportation for the opening of schools, but it will take everything we have available because there's a shortage in drivers, there's a shortage in trust with the transportation companies because they are not bidding on routes because school's in 1 minute, it's out the next minute. You have to negotiate services when payment for services not rendered. What do you pay them? We don't have to pay full contract prices if they're not in service. So there's a lot of complications. So bus companies are skittish, so to speak. And so we don't have all our routes. That puts an overburden on our bus routes, our in-house bus routes. We're not going to be able to continue to provide non-public busing once November 16 starts. We were going to give everyone aid in lieu, but when we didn't go back as a public school, our students that go to other schools, non-public, whether it's St. Joe's or St. Thomas or St. Bart's, we provided the busing because we have to, but instead of giving aid in lieu, we provided the busing for some of the schools, Notre Dame in Lawrenceville, because there are students that were required, even though they're not going to our schools. But we did tell the parents and families that once we go back, we may need those buses for our local routes. We were hoping that we could continue it, but because we can't fill our local routes with outsourced busing, people are not bidding on it. We're working on it. So then you can see we're going to have to use our local buses and not be able to provide maybe some of those routes. It's not over yet. We're still negotiating. We're going to try, but I don't want to give people false hope that we may have to give them a prorated aid in lieu instead of the bus routes, instead of the busing that we have been provided. But we've made that clear up front that we would do as much as we could, as long as we could, while we were on remote. So, Madam President, that concludes the business operations report.
Thank you, sir.
Madam President, I saw Miss Williams come on. I know she's here for our student reports. I wonder if our students are here. Did they stay on with us?
Yes, we are. Hi.
Oh, great, Sarah. Great.
I'm-
Where's our partner? Is your partner with you?
Yes, over here. Hello.
Oh, great. I thought I saw you. It's hard. So many people. Welcome. Madam President, let me present our wonderful students to give their report.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Williams, and I'll be giving this month's student activity report. So in the first week of October, we had our virtual PEP week. Students participated in theme days, and the week culminated with our virtual PEP rally. Our fall athletes were honored, and classes participated in games and competitions, and the class of 2022 were the winners of the Spirit Cup for our fall PEP week. Next, as a part of our PEP Week, each class held an online fundraiser for our SGO charity, the Thirst Project. The class has raised a total of $521 in that week of fundraising, and we're nearing our $8,000 goal to build a fresh water well in Uganda. Our clubs have begun their meetings, and students are actively participating in the over 30 clubs and activities that we have at NBTHS. The class of 2022 held their gift basket auction this past Saturday, and it was a success. And Care to Walk has been raising funds for the American Cancer Society as part of their Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Central Jersey Walk. They have surpassed their $750 goal by raising $1,207.
Wow.
And SGO is currently organizing for a virtual event in November. Mr. NBTHS will be broadcasted to students on Friday, November 20th. And that's all for today. Thank you.
Ojal, are you anything to add to that wonderful report?
No, me and Sarah are going to be switching off the
Okay.
reports.
I could just say both of you are still smiling. I know you're excited that we're trying to get back November 16th. How are you feeling about that?
I'm excited for it, but I will not be coming back to school. I don't think I'll be coming back until the second semester.
Okay. You chose a remote, which is your choice. How about you, Sarah? How are you doing? You're still positive? Great report.
Yeah, I'm still positive. I think I'll be doing the same as Ojal and staying home for the second marking period. But I'm looking forward to hopefully being back at NBTHS in like January or second semester, hopefully.
Yeah, you should know it's almost 70% of our high school students are going to stay home, Sarah. So, and Ojal, and so we made it available. We had to make a dual choice, required to do that. So it's great hearing from you. I just want you to know our fall sports are off to a great start. I'm going to take full credit, even though that's not really the case, but I'm going to take it anyway because I didn't let anybody practice during the summer. And that's counterintuitive, thinking they didn't practice. How could they be doing so well? Well, we know because they're so talented. Our coaches are so good and they're so committed, but I'll take the credit for not letting them practice. And that's why they're doing the girls tennis team is amazing. The cross country, the soccer teams, boys and girls, and of course our football team are all doing fantastically. So I'll be taking full credit in my report, but even though that's not the case. So thank you for your report. Madam President, that concludes the reports for now. We're going to need a number 9 motion.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the administrative committee and student reports.
Second.
Ms. Hawk, we need a roll call.
Sorry, I was on mute. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Keith,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
The reports are accepted.
Thank you.
Madam President, this is
Yes.
my favorite time where I get to scroll down Zoom-like as we have to review the agenda on number 10. Just let me know when you want me to start.
Start now.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll start on page 3 with personnel.
You've got this down now, huh?
Yeah, and Madam President, you always like to share with the public that our board members have received this, they review this, so we're moving along a little quicker, but we like to do this to give one last chance before we do a consent agenda.
Correct. Thank you for sharing that.
Board members, please, if you need me to stop, this is for the board. We'll do a question from the public on any agenda item in a minute, but we're going through all of the issues from the committee for the community's sake. The board works in committee structure and the committees post these. Everything you see just about on this agenda has been reviewed at a committee level. That's why the board is familiar with most of this. Here's the bullying scores that we said earlier, and our finance. Our finances to the penny. Once again, we look forward to giving you the audit report from last year in December. You may look on page this page currently, page number 5, we were second round of funding, $436,000, $871 that we received from the second round, the Coronavirus Relief Fund. These are the policies Mr. Brooks was talking about, transportation contracts. And what you see now, a lot of verbiage, but it's required to accept packages and the bids that we received from the bus companies that we did fill the open routes. And then we get to the end of the meeting. So it's not a long agenda here in November. Typically it's not, Madam President. After review, we go back to number 11. I got to bring it back up. We go back to number 11. And this is where you engage the public if anybody has agenda items only.
Correct. So at this time, there's an opportunity for the public to ask questions or make comments on the agenda items only. If you would like to do so, please use the tools available on Zoom to indicate that you would like to speak on those agenda items, and Dr. Sikowski will grant you access.
Exactly. And Mr. Toro, who is on with us, who's monitoring our YouTube, we will wait, and I'll wait for his word to see if anybody has a question so we can put them here live on the Zoom. About agenda items only, you will see in a minute, this board affords every public to also talk about any question after we get done with the consent agenda, which is coming up very shortly. So we want to see. Mr. Toro, do you see anything on YouTube that anybody asking questions? Mr. Toro? Thank you. A little delay, but we want to wait, just give everybody an opportunity. So, Madam President, we're going to go back. I see no questions. As you know, we're going to need a motion in a second to close the public portion for agenda items only.
So moved.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion relating to the agenda items.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris. Barry?
He's here, Mr. Harris.
Motion, Vic.
Yes, yes.
We got a
Thank
yes
you.
from Mr. Harris.
Miss Keefe,
Yes.
Miss Rubin,
Yes.
Toth,
Yes.
and Miss Gonzalez.
Yes.
The session is closed.
Yes, so just when you thought it was safe, Miss Hawk, don't go anywhere. We now have public matters to discuss because, again, I just want to remind the public, it seems odd. One is for agenda items only. The other is for any matter that you want to bring before the board, whether it's on the agenda or not. So, Madam President, you have number 13.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So as Dr. Sikowski mentioned, at this time, there's an opportunity for the public to ask questions or speak on any matter. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes in order for us to accommodate anyone else that is interested in asking questions or speaking during the public portion of the meeting.
I will be waiting and wait for Mr. Toro. I saw a hand go. Miss Passer, I thought, raised her hand. Yes, Miss Passer, great to see you raise your hand. I know you're probably sick of me. We've been meeting so much lately. You are on.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Dr. Zakowski. Good evening to the Board of Ed. I hope everyone is doing all right tonight. It's been almost 8 weeks since the beginning of the school year. Despite not being in person, we still have been able to form very positive relationships with our students and give them the best possible education under the circumstances. I'm very proud of the faculty and the staff of the district for how they've adapted during this time and for all that they have achieved during this time. So I'm very proud of that. I am, though, concerned, and the NBT is EA is concerned about the rising numbers of coronavirus cases across New Jersey. We have now had our 10th day in a row in which New Jersey has seen over 1,000 positive daily cases. Middlesex County is currently the 4th county in the state with the most cases. And by watching the news and watching the trends, we are concerned that things are going to get worse before they get better, especially when we see neighboring towns in our county, towns like Woodbridge that had 36 positive cases, including 10 staff members within the first 2 weeks of opening for their hybrid program. And just yesterday at Old Bridge, they are middle school, 1 staff member tested positive, leading to the quarantine of 10 other staff members plus 4 students. And throughout this pandemic, I've routinely applauded the district for doing an excellent job of being so cautious with the reopening and really prioritizing the health and safety of both students and both staff. And I will continue to say that. But with the recent trends and with the holiday season approaching at this time, we do feel that for the safety of our students and the staff, the district should continue with this cautious approach and delay the reopening of phase 3 to a later date. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pastor. Mr. Toro, do you see any other comments, questions? Yeah, I don't see anything here on our pages. I just want to, Madam President, before we even read the motion, go to closed session, we have to close this public portion for any matter. We're going to need a motion in a second.
Make a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Second.
Thank you, sir.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Brockman.
Yes.
Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris.
Yes.
Ms. Keefe.
Yes.
Ms. Rubin.
Yes.
Ms. Toth.
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
We are closed this session.
Well, go to a closed session on another link, and then we were coming back to report if we have anything to report. We don't see anything to report now except maybe acceptance of the harassment, intimidation, and bullying report. We have some attorney-client privilege matters that you'll see in a minute that we have to go into closed session, but we'll still keep the open portion there. So if you want to still wait, we are going to go into closed session. I hope it's between 10 to 20 minutes, but the board members will have a chance to talk to Mr. Bush regarding some serious matters that at which time we'll make public after or when it becomes a reality or possible. So Madam President, we're going to go, Ms. Hawk is going to send each of the board members a link, our board attorney. Also, she will be sending Ms. Rumbo a link as well. And but we do need the motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Well, typically we have our board president read the section A of a public meeting
I'm
act.
losing it. Losing
No,
it.
that's okay.
You want to read it, Ms.
Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah. We just need someone to make the motion by reading the resolution.
Yep.
I can read it. Ms. Toth can read it. I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session. So whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is in the opinion that such circumstances presented exist, now therefore be it resolved by the North Brunswick Township Board of Education that the public shall be excluded from the discussion of action upon hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter will be discussed as follows. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying report. That's number one. Number two, attorney-client privilege as it relates to personnel, school safety matters, and student matters. It is anticipated at this time, oh, I'm sorry, it went away.
I lost it. I'm sorry. I
Got
stopped.
it. It's anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
So that's
Have a
the
motion to go into closed session, please.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
So moved.
Thank you, Haley. I'm sorry I cut your screen off too
Don't
quick.
worry about it.
Sorry about that.
Haley, thanks for jumping in.
Oh, no problem.
We are
Anytime.
going to jump into closed session, folks. So just leave this meeting. Oh, we didn't do a roll call. My fault. Thank you, Ms. Hawk.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
We can go into closed.
Okay, we'll see you in a couple seconds and we'll be back to finish the meeting. Amy, are you there? We'll be ready to go. So two things, Madam President, we get back, we're going to need a motion to go back into open session. Toro, who's been keeping this seat warm. Mr. Carroll, I see you're still here. Thank you for being here. And Mr. Mizrahi, as always, you're always there. Welcome back to our public. I don't know if anybody stayed around. We had a great closed session with the board. Thank you, Mr. Bush, for working with the board. As our focus has always been and will be the safety of our staff and students. But Madam President, we need a motion to go back into open session, to officially open up the session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we need a roll call. Ms. Hawk, you're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
We're back in open session.
We're back, Madam President. I just have one motion for the board to consider. One is our October HIB report. Every board member received it. I had no questions, so we need a motion and a second to accept the October HIB report.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the harassment, intimidation, and bullying report for October 2020.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin, Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
The report's accepted.
Madam President, I want to thank all the board members. We had a great meeting tonight. Thank you for your participation in closed session. Thank you for all your participation. As I told the public, we're really a board of committees, and we really appreciate the work of the committee so we could build this agenda. But you don't have to go home. You just can't stay here. We need a motion for adjournment.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this
Second.
evening's meeting.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Toro, for holding it. Thank you, everyone. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Everybody.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Dr. Z,
Good night.
keep us posted on that little boy.